ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمد عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره مقدار العظيم. اللهم نسألك في توفيق في حياتنا كلها ونؤمن بنبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وقد آمن به ونؤمن به ونتبعه في كل ما عندنا. كل هذا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين ونشكرك لذاك حتى نموت وحتى يوم الدين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us to be able to sit and say His name. We say it when we wake up. We say it when we perform ablutions. We say it when we go towards salah. We say it before we eat. We say it when we see each other. We say Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu is God. Assalamu, al-mu'minu, al-muhayminu. These are all names of Allah. Assalamu. We say Allah's name when we have difficulties. Ya Latif. We say Allah's name, God's name in our own language when we say, God help me. We say God's name when we are calling on Him in any form or fashion whatsoever, just saying, Sayyidina Ibrahim was called Awwah. He was called the one who moaned often. Even moaning is a type of call on God, because he knows that He is the only one that can answer that ache and that pain. So that ache and that pain is actually one of the sounds that calls God's attention. Many people, they suffer and they have difficulties in their life because Allah loves to hear that sound come from them. And if they didn't have pain, if they didn't have difficulty, if they didn't have discomfort, they wouldn't call on Him. That's one of the secrets about the Muslim world today. You know, societies that are built around belief in God. They are literally in difficulty every corner in every area of the globe, and part of the reason why that is because Allah loves to hear the one who believes in Him call on Him. It doesn't mean that we don't want difficulties in those parts of the world to be lifted. Of course, it's inhumane to say so. But there's a hikmah and there's a wisdom in it. And there's a hikmah and there's a wisdom when we in the United States, who may or may not believe in God, get afflicted with economic crisis. Or we who may or may not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala get tried when we have difficulties. Because at those points and those times we realize the frailty of the means that we have. They called the Challenger. Look what happened. The Titanic. This thing not even God can sink this thing. Look what happened. So constantly the means are being questioned. Constantly the means which we are so in love with in the United States is being questioned. But many of us were lost in material, and we won't give up. We won't give up our belief and our trust in the means that are provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're stuck in secondary causes. My job provides for me. If I don't have a job, then my life is over. I should end my life. We're stuck in secondary causes here. We're stuck in the material and don't believe in the creator of materials. Many people, for example, are impressed by celebrities, but they're not impressed by the one who created the celebrity. We're stuck. There's a certain level of understanding, there's a certain level of relationship, there's a certain level of reality, there's a certain level of being that many of us in the United States have not been able to get past, and that's the fact that we cannot look past the material. We cannot look past what you can smell, what you can touch, what you can taste. And we believe and we push and we try so hard in these materials, and when they fail us, we don't know what to do. I'm protesting this, I'm protesting that, and my efforts aren't working. Your protest is immaterial. That's why it's not working. If Allah doesn't want it to, it won't work. That doesn't mean don't try. But when you try, you do it for Allah. Then you won't fail. So the believer has a certain level of understanding that supersedes the level of the materialists. It starts with tawbah. Our tawbah is La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is our tawbah. It's the tawbah of every individual that comes into Islam. What do they say? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam abduhu wa rasuluh. I bear witness there's no God, no doer, no sustainer, no motivator, no obstacle maker, no obstacle destroyer, no nourisher. There is no actual and true existence at all whatsoever except that it be Allah. And I testify and I believe and I know for a fact that He sent me a messenger and his name is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the tawbah of the person coming into Islam. Because that whole umbrella of ideas, there's a lifestyle that is born out of that seed. It's a new life. It's tawbah. It's the beginning of tawbah. The reality of tawbah is that a person takes away every bit of power or ability. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There's no power nor ability except in God, the creator of the means. And when that happens, a person begins to realize there's no power or ability in me either. La hawla wa la quwwata illa fi niyati. Many of us say that. There's no power or ability but in my intention. How many things do we intend in a day and see no fruit of it whatsoever? What happens is a person has to make tawbah. Tawbah is to realize La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. He is one in His essence, He is one in His attributes, and He is one in His actions, and I have no part in it whatsoever. My essence is dependent on His. My attributes are dependent on His attributes. And my actions are dependent upon His permission. That's tawbah. That's La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. And when that happens, a person can now go upright and can move like a human being. They can have istiqamah. They can stand upright. Istiqamah means to be upright. Sirat al-mustaqim. We're the only creatures that walk around on two legs for a reason. We're supposed to be upright individuals. You believe in something and you're upright. Meaning that, yes, you make mistakes. But you always go back to the source of faith and nur and light, the seed of belief that you have in your heart, and you base yourself upon that reality. You look inside yourself. You don't look around you for someone to give you direction and guidance and help. You look inside your heart and you see the Lord of the throne inside. The seven heavens and the earths and the heavens cannot contain me. But the heart of my slave can contain me. It's Hadith Qudsi. Because ana inda dhanni abdi bi, I am to my slave as he or she thinks of me. If you behold Allah in your heart, wallahi al-azim, you'll find Him. And you'll find a voice that's inside that's telling you what to do and how to do it and when to do it and how and to what extent to do it. And you'll find it there if you have a connection with your Lord, if you look inside. The only reason why an individual will feel lost is because they're not looking inside. Or don't know how to look inside. How many hours we spend in front of the television, preoccupied, don't know ourselves, don't want anyone to tell us about ourselves, can't even take nasiha, can't take advice from anyone. What you talking to me like that for? You don't know me. No, brother, you don't know you. I'm your mirror. I'm here to show you who you are. So when a person has this istiqamah and this uprightness, meaning that they look at the source of light in their heart and they believe in it and they move on it, then Allah gives them taqwa. Then Allah gives them taqwa. You want to strive for taqwa? People beating you over the head with taqwa? Brother, be taqallah, be muttaqi, as if it's something that you can make happen. You earn taqwa. You believe, you're upright, and Allah gives you that consciousness. That's where it comes from. It's momentum. It's spiritual momentum. Until we get to a point, may Allah make us of these people where we have sidq. We have affirmation of the truth. What truth is that? It's the light and the nur inside your heart. And wallahi al-azim, every individual in this room has a light in their heart. Wallahi, a torch in their heart. That if the reality of that light and that torch were to be shown to this world, it would would blast away the light of the sun. That sidq, that affirmation of truth comes out in our actions. I don't know what it is about this brother, but when I see him, it's like he's constantly calm. He never freaks out. What is it about him? He has this peace inside of himself. She has this sister, I don't know what it is about her, but she has a state of such that when I get around her, I just feel good. All the problems in the world could hit me on the head, I'd feel fine. Because something is telling me by her state that it's going to be okay. Because Allah's got this, man. The person not in that state looks at the world as if it's in total chaos. Who's running this? It's crazy. I don't know. His name is Allah. And the person who is with Allah and who believes in Allah and knows Allah is not scared of any of the attributes that come up in front of him. Because all he or she is looking at is the essence of things. Pleasure comes, Allah. Pain comes, Allah. Difficulty comes, Allah. Ease comes, Allah. Friends come, Allah. Being solitary comes along, Allah. No matter what Allah shows them, they're not veiled from the doer of things. And they confirm and they affirm the truth that is in their hearts. And there's a relationship between this. And we have in hadith, نعم كل السلام من الناس عليه صدقة. We hear these words in hadith. Every joint that a human being has, he owes a charity for it. But the word is sadaqah. It's the same word as sidq. كل السلام من الناس عليها صدقة كل يوم تطلع فيه الشمس. Every day that the sun rises, he owes a sadaqah for every joint in the body. The relationship between having to pay charity and the sidq, the affirmation of truth that is inside the heart, is that you are appreciating the faith that you have, and you believe in the faith that you have, and as a result you spend on other people and other causes, and you work. And he says later on in the hadith, he says to assist someone on their mount is a sadaqah, or to help them put their things onto the mount of the horse, for example, is a sadaqah. He also says later on in the hadith to remove an obstacle from people's path is a sadaqah. It's all an affirmation of the truth. It's called charity. But it's an affirmation of the truth because you know and you believe that God will take care of me, and I must take care of them because God's taking care of me. Removing a harmful thing from the road is the lowest level of faith. In the branches of faith, it's the lowest level of faith. What does that have to do with believing? You know that God is going to take care of you. And as a result, you're not worried of anyone taking care of you. You're going to take care of somebody else. That makes you the Khalifa on the earth. The Khalifa, the ambassador. So, for example, the Khalifa of England, the ambassador of England, of Great Britain comes here. Who is he representing himself? Let's say his name is, Charles. Is he representing Charles, or who is he representing? You are the Khalifa of Allah on this earth. And until you realize and own your position on this earth, Allah is going to test you and try you and push you and mess with you until you own what you are. You don't go around acting like you don't know what's going on and why do I exist. No, you have faith in what you know what's in your heart and you know what's there. And unless and until you look inside your heart and own it and live on it, it's going to be a rough road. Your name might be Derek, or your name might be Muhammad, but I'm sorry to tell you, your name is Khalifa. You don't even know, I don't even know, we haven't realized who we are. You have to have affirmation of the truth that's inside. And when you do that, you take care of this world, because Allah will take care of you. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, how did he get that name? The night that the Prophet ﷺ made the Isra and Mi'raj, the night that he went and he made the journey and the ascension. Well, the Sahaba and the Quraysh, the disbelieving people of Mecca, they heard, right, about the trip that the Prophet, all he mentioned was the Isra. He hadn't even mentioned the ascension yet. He just said that he went to Baytul Maqdis and came back all in one night. He went to Jerusalem, which is how many hours of a journey, and came back in one night, and the people laughed. They said, this guy is absolutely out of his gourd. Right? So the companions, the Quraysh, the disbelieving Quraysh, they come up and they say, do you know what your friend is saying to Abu Bakr? Do you know what your crazy friend's saying now? He's saying he went to Baytul Maqdis and came back in one night's journey. Hey, are you going to believe that? Abu Bakr said, did he say it? He didn't say yes or no. He wanted to know if he said it. Did he himself say it? They said, yeah. He said, I believe he's getting revelation from upon high. I believe God is revealing revelation on his heart. So what for a night journey? And then in some narrations he mentions later on that if he said that he went to the highest level of paradise and came back down, I would confirm it. He didn't even know that the Prophet actually did that. He confirmed it before he was even told about it. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, how did he get the position that he had? He sat one time in a circle sitting with other Sahaba, and they were talking about the things of this world, this dunya that they loved. When it came to Sayyidina Abu Bakr's turn, he said, Ya Rasulullah, I love three things in this world, and not necessarily in this order. Amongst them, he said, I love the fact that I spend my wealth on you. He spends it because he knows Allah has his back. He said, I love that my daughter is married to you, Aisha, radiallahu anha. And he said, I love looking at your noble face. He saw something in the face of the Prophet ﷺ that the disbelieving Quraysh, his own family, his uncles and cousins were not seeing. They saw Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He saw Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And to be honest with you, who knows what he actually saw in him? And that was the pleasure of his life, was looking at him. Why does that happen? Because he confirmed. The more you and I affirm and confirm and believe and trust in Allah, the more we will see his help come. And the more shaitan causes us to have disbelief and doubt and worries about Allah, the less help we will see. Our job is to make shaitan an enemy, and the only thing that he can do is cause doubt in our hearts. That's it. Iblis comes from the word balasa, which means to have doubt. That's all he can do. And that's all he will do, and that's all his only effort is to put doubt in your heart about your Lord. That's all he can do. Do you know how you get rid of it? You say, La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Until people think you are Majnoon. It's a hadith. Make dhikr until people will think that you're crazy. Another narration, the advice he gave to a Sahabi was to make dhikr, to always keep his tongue wet with the dhikr of Allah. When you cannot separate the name and the named. You cannot separate the name and the named. You don't believe? Elephant. Everybody in this room has an image of an elephant in their head right now. You cannot separate the name from the named. So when you say Allah, he said, Ana jalisu man dhakarani. I am the sitting companion of the one who remembers me. I am the sitting companion of the one who remembers me. You cannot say Allah without there being a special presence with you that was not there before. When you say Allah, He is with you. When you don't say Allah, He's still with you. But when you say Allah, you've opened the door for His presence to come into your life. And the more you say it, and the more you say it, and the more you say it, it will happen until there is a reverberation happening in the heart by itself. The heart saying, Allah, 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 Allah. The heart is calling on its Lord. You're packing the bags, you're getting groceries, and your heart is in a complete state of connection with God. But you have to kickstart your heart. That's why we have these adhkar, this dhikr. And that is where the affirmation and confirmation of truth comes into play. Because the more you say His name, the more you say His name, the heart remembers and the heart falls in love. And the heart is already in love, but the heart remembers. And so finally, you're not even saying His name and the heart is saying it for you. The same God who spoke to Musa without any means. The same God who assisted Isa. The same God who created Adam. The same one who inspired the Psalms to Dawood. The same one who gave Sulaiman the power over the jinn and the wind and all of creation. The same Allah that has sent wali after wali after wali after wali in this world is right in front of you when you pray salat. It's hadith. He's right there with you when you say Allah. Take your trust away from the material. You wouldn't trust in a dead body, would you? Yeah, man, we got to wash this body. Oh, for real? Okay, yeah, I'm coming. Hey, can I borrow $5? You would never do that. It's all dead. It has no power, it has no ability to harm or to benefit. La nafi' illallah, la dharra illallah. There is no benefactor but Allah, and there is no harm but coming from Allah. And there's nothing you can do to escape it if harm's going to come to you. You cannot do anything about it. The best thing to do is be an abd and accept it and submit and embrace it. Because if you accept and if you embrace and if you accept it, there are the darajat. Allah will give you stations closer and closer to Himself. Brother and sister, you and I cannot lose. It is a win-win situation. And that's why we say Alhamdulillah for Islam. That's why we say Alhamdulillah for Iman. And that's why we say Alhamdulillah for Ihsan, that we worship Allah as if we see Him. And if we can't, that He sees us. May Allah bring us to that station. May Allah bring us to that place. By His lutf and afiyah, and by His grace, and by His fadl. ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ. That is the grace of Allah. He gives to whomever He wants. And I'll tell you, by Allah, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, if you have this desire in your heart to reach your Lord, it is only because He wants you to reach Him. If you have a desire in your heart to be close to your Lord, it is only because He wants you first. If you have a desire to submit to Allah and to ask Allah for forgiveness, it's because it's already waiting for you. If you have a desire or a need in your heart and you want to ask Him, it's because He wants to give it to you. We're sitting at a banquet. We're sitting at a banquet full of vegetables and herbs and succulent meats. And we're hungry talking about where's the food. Haven't eaten in days. Look in front of you, man. May Allah give us the best cutlery. And let's dig in. نستغفر الله ونتوب عليه أوصيكم بتقوى الله عز وجل والسمع والطاعة إنه هو الغفور الرحيم ولكن عذابه شديد واستغفروه يا قوم إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره مقدار العظيم. In the same hadith, he mentions وَكَلِمَةُ الطَّيَّبُ صَدَقَةٌ. It translates literally meaning, and the good word is a sadaqah. In other words, how are you doing? I'm fine. Instead of saying, how are you doing? I'm straight. I'm fine. How are you doing? Basic human interaction. How are you, brother? I'm fine. How are you? It's sadaqah. It's okay to talk to people. They're not Muslim, they're najas. You're najas. Wallahi, only a najas person can look at somebody else as being najas. No, I'm serious. It's a projection. You're just projecting your own filth onto somebody else. You don't know if that person is Muslim or not. Can you tell time? Do you know what they're going to die on? Allah knows. Okay, and then maybe in the hereafter, maybe they are, but that's not what we're dealing. The ball's still rolling, man. As far as I'm concerned, every single person that is in front of me is better than me because I know myself, I don't know them. وَكَلِمَةُ الطَّيِّبُ صَدَقَةٌ. He said that the good word is sadaqah. But also, a kalima tayyiba, as most of us know in this room, is to say La ilaha illallah. The best, the kalimatul atyab, the sweetest, tayyib means sweet also. The sweetest word is La ilaha illallah. Because there's a ladha and a sweetness that is inside that. It puts a sukr. It puts a sweetness inside the heart that no organism, no organ, no substance on this planet can put inside the heart. This heart of mine, this soul of mine, this ruh of mine was drinking from the wells of reality before I came into this world. It was planted in a garden of truth, drinking from the wells of reality, drinking from the wells of surety, tasting the sweetness of presence and proximity. That's where this soul was. And when I say La ilaha illallah, it brings me back to that place. Inshallah, brothers, move forward. People are trying to come in. The heart yearns, the heart thirsts, the heart wants to get back home. And anything and everything that reminds it of its home, look how it jumps out of its chest. How many people, for example, in this room heard about Islam in some kind of way? I heard about it, the first time I even read the name Allah was on the back of a Public Enemy tape. Public Enemy. I think it was Fear of a Black Planet. It was a tape, which is, youngsters, I don't even know if you've even seen the tape before. The jacket. I opened it up and it said, all praise is due to Allah. I think I said Allah, though. All praise is due to Allah. I don't know how to articulate that. And when I read that, I knew the name. It was like someone had, like you hadn't seen someone in a long, long time, and you see that face, and you're like, man, I know you. It's that name. Anything and everything that calls back to that reality that we all know. Look how much we yearn for it and long for it. Now, what if you and I become Allah in the sense of the name manifested on the planet? What if you and I become a person that when people look at us, they remember Allah? What about that? No matter what our occupation, you don't have to be a scholar to do that, man. Many scholars, they don't really do that for people. Many teachers don't do that for people. Sometimes it's just like you meet somebody, like, how'd you become Muslim? Oh yeah, the pool guy came by. And I was really into the way he just kind of was dipping the stick, man. It was amazing. It was graceful. Really? Wow, that's deep. Yeah, man, I don't know. I was just like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm Muslim, and I went with him to the mosque, and I'm actually indicating certain individuals in our community. So I'm not making it up. There are people that are like that. Their every movement is pointing to Allah. Do you know how that happens? Because the tongue is so busy. When the heart is busy with Allah, the limbs say Allah. When the heart is busy with Allah, the limbs say Allah. They say it, man. What are you talking about, brother? You can't say, I'm telling you the truth. I don't know what it is about this sister, but whenever she's anywhere near, it's her chastity and her attention to God. It makes me shy and remember my Lord. May Allah make us the kinds of people that we are walking dhikr. Wallahi, walking dhikr. May He make us a mercy to the worlds, like our Prophet ﷺ, that we don't even have to. We need to get to a point where you and I are not talking about Islam. We're doing Islam. Don't need a pamphlet. Don't need some kind of intellectual debating about how 2 and 3 are not 1 and 1 and 3 and that. People who see the truth know the truth. You don't got to talk about it. The look in a man's eyes who has certainty in God is enough. When you look in that man's eyes, you remember your Lord, it's enough. You're like, I don't know, whatever you're on, whatever you call it, I'm cool, I want it. I'm cool with everything else, I want what you have. Brothers and sisters, we have low aspirations. Our aspirations are so low. Most of us, for the most part, our aspiration is having a big house, having 2 cars. Alhamdulillah. You get it. Get a car. Get 2 houses. Get 3 pools in the backyard. You will leave this earth. And 3 things will go with us to the grave. Our money, our wealth, in other words, our family and our actions. And 2 of them will go back. The greatest action you can ever have is knowing your Lord. An individual sends you a gift. Like clockwork. Every Friday after Jummah, you go home and there's a gift. Every time you go, the gift is better and better and better and better. There's no return address. You don't know where it's coming from. At a certain point, you're going to get anxious because you want to know, where is this gift coming from? Who is the individual giving me this gift? Love will come in your heart because you realize you didn't deserve it. You didn't ask for it. It's simply grace upon you from an individual, and you start to be alarmed. Because you're like, how in the world is this person increasing their gifts? They must be a millionaire. They're so thoughtful to me. If I obey or disobey, if I'm a good guy or a bad guy, the gift is coming to me no matter what. I can depend on it. After a certain point, an individual, if their heart is in the right place, they're going to want to know the giver of the gifts, and they're going to get tired of the gifts. At a certain point, they're going to say, I don't want the gifts anymore. You can keep your gifts. God, just let me see you. Well, that's how Allah is with us every second of our life. Every moment of our life is a gift. Every second of our life is a gift. Every millisecond of our life is a gift that's coming from upon high, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He's giving it to us, and He's increasing us and giving us knowledge, helping us learn from our mistakes, making us better people, giving us friends and love, and people to love, associates. He's giving it to us and giving it to us and giving it to us, but how satisfied we are with the gifts. What is wrong with my heart that I'm not satisfied with the giver of the gifts? Why am I not trying to meet Him, to know Him, to be up in the night, to have intimacy with Him? What's wrong with me? I'm like a dog. No, a dog is better than me. A dog loves its master. I'm just an opportunist. May Allah forgive me. May Allah make me wake up. May Allah make my heart soft to want His presence, to want His intimacy, to love Him, because He loves me so much. He loves me so much. The air that goes in my lungs is proof. The blood running through my veins is proof. I can't say Allah without Him putting it into my heart. How many people out there can't say the name, man? You and I are at this moment, in this time, in this day, we are not like them because of a gift that He's given us. Let us be thankful. And let those gifts not be an obstacle, because if we do not look at the giver of the gifts, it's punishment on us. Wallah, it's punishment on us. Our health is punishment. Our wealth is punishment. Our friends are punishment if they keep us from knowing Allah. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created man or jinn but to worship me. Ibn Abbas said the meaning of this, and he's the one that the Prophet said, peace upon him, he's the Tarjuman of Quran, the one who translates the meanings of the Quran. He said, I have not created men or jinn but to know me. And what a sweet knowledge that is. May Allah make us knowers. Allahumma ghfir jami' al-muslimina wal-muslimat wal-mu'minina wal-mu'minat al-ahya'i minhum wal-amwat al-ahya'i minhum wal-amwat wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam wa alhamdulillah wa aqim as-salah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya as-salat, hayya al-falah. Qad qamat as-salat, qad qamat as-salat. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Inshallah, ya arhamar rahimin. Wa nashkuruka lidhak hatta namut wa hatta yawm ad-din. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us to be able to sit and say His name. We say it when we wake up. We say it when we perform ablutions. We say it when we go towards salah. We say it before we eat. We say it before we say it when we see each other. We say Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu is God. Assalamu, al-mu'minu, al-muhayminu. These are all names of Allah. Assalamu. We say Allah's name when we have difficulties. Ya Latif. We say Allah's name, God's name in our own language when we say, God help me. We say God's name when we are calling on Him in any form or fashion whatsoever, just saying, Sayyidina Ibrahim was called Awwah. He was called the one who moaned often. Even moaning is a type of call on God, because He knows that He is the only one that can answer that ache and that pain. So that ache and that pain is actually one of the sounds that calls God's attention. Many people, they suffer and they have difficulties in their life because Allah loves to hear that sound come from them. And if they didn't have pain, if they didn't have difficulty, if they didn't have discomfort, they wouldn't call on Him. That's one of the secrets about the Muslim world today. You know, societies that are built around belief in God. They are literally in difficulty every corner and every area of the globe, and part of the reason why that is because Allah loves to hear the one who believes in Him call on Him. It doesn't mean that we don't want difficulties in those parts of the world to be lifted. Of course, it's inhumane to say so. We're stuck in secondary causes here. We're stuck in the material and don't believe in the creator of materials. Many people, for example, are impressed by celebrities, but they're not impressed by the one who created the celebrity. We're stuck. There's a certain level of understanding, there's a certain level of relationship, there's a certain level of reality, there's a certain level of being that many of us in the United States have not been able to get past, and that's the fact that we cannot look past the material. We cannot look past what you can smell, what you can touch, what you can taste. And we believe and we push and we try so hard in these materials, and when they fail us, we don't know what to do. I'm protesting this, I'm protesting that, and my efforts aren't working. Your protest is immaterial. That's why it's not working. If Allah doesn't want it to, it won't work. That doesn't mean don't try. But when you try, you do it for Allah. Then you won't fail. But there's a hikmah and there's a wisdom in it. And there's a hikmah and there's a wisdom when we in the United States, who may or may not believe in God, get afflicted with economic crisis. Or we who may or may not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala get tried and we have difficulties. Because at those points and those times we realize the frailty of the means that we have. They called the Challenger. Look what happened. The Titanic. This thing can't, not even God can sink this thing. Look what happened. So constantly the means are being questioned. Constantly the means which we are so in love with in the United States is being questioned. But many of us were lost in material and we won't give up. We won't give up our belief and our trust in the means that are provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're stuck in secondary causes. My job provides for me. If I don't have a job, then my life is over. I should end my life. ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمد عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره مقدار العظيم وعلى آله حق قدره مقدار العظيم اللهم نسألك في توفيق في حياتنا كلها ونؤمن بنبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وقد آمن به ونؤمن به ونتبعه في كل ما عندنا كل هذا برحمة